Right, I have stuck the program for the Dragon Run on May Day and use that as my background, and I have drawn the dragons, the red dragon and now the white dragon from the race, and now I'm going to gesso over because this is quite shiny, and I'm going to gesso it to give it a white gesso to give it a key for me to work on.
Oh, I don't know, go. Thank you.
just going over them just to bring back the detail. Right, now I'm going to do the red dragon first. Now that all the gesso has dried, not too keen on that red as I am this red. Kind of like this red a bit better. Let's use this one. Right. They just do. Now I did just pick a brush up, she says. I'll use this one. This is a bit, that's a bit too pink for what I want. This is a bit more red, yeah. And incorporate the two so I don't waste it. Oh, that's better. So I'm just going to give him a coat, one coat of red to start with. So I do want it to go darker. The dragons that I'm painting were designed and made apparently 2 years ago, and what they represent is the two wells, water wells or springs that are in Glastonbury. One is called the Red Spring because it has water which is very, very irony and comes out a reddish colour. I don't know if you have this in other countries where there's a lot of iron ore in the rocks, so that the water as it passes through picks up the iron and it kind of, well, I want to say contaminates the water, but actually it's a mineral, so it doesn't really contaminate it. But it does give it a weird taste. Allegedly it tastes a lot like when if you cut your finger and you lick your finger, it kind of tastes quite irony from the blood content. And this is what this water from the red well allegedly tastes like. I didn't drink any, so I don't know. But I did go into the white spring, and the reason why it's called the white spring is because it comes down from the Glastonbury tour. The water drips through the hillside, and there was, before the Victorians, a cave and wood, and the people used to go and collect their water there because the water was pure. But in the Victorian times they found that a lot of people in Glastonbury were dying of cholera, and at that time they made the connection that cholera was connected to the water source and somehow it got contaminated. And so the Victorians in Glastonbury made a kind of water building. It's like an underground building where the water could come through and be pure, and the people from the town could collect the water from there and obviously be free from cholera. Now, a few years ago, the same house, well, building that they made the water from, or collected the water, used to be a cafe, and I'm not quite sure how the people had access to the water, because I didn't know, even though I've been to Glastonbury lots of times, I didn't know actually that this place existed, believe it or not. And so I have no idea what the spring looked like when there was a shop involved. I'm thinking it must have been quite wet, or I don't quite know what they did with the water, because when we went round it on Sunday, the the floor were quite wet, where people, there's like 3 pools. There's a deep pool and a not so deep pool. I think one goes up to your neck, which is at the back, which collects the water from the back of the cave, and one comes from, and then there's another one in front of it, which I think probably comes up to your waist, and then there's this really, really shallow pool, which is huge, and you can kneel down it. I mean, if you stood in it, it would be up just below your knees. But when I looked, and then, when I went in there, there was this Buddhist monk, and he was knelt down in the water, and it was quite awesome, because he was doing like this chant, and the cave is just, I want to say cave because that's what it looks like. It's like an arched roof, and the Victorians are very good at doing arches. It was an arched roof, and it had all candles in all the crevices, little tea lights, and it looked pretty awesome. But obviously it isn't a it isn't a cave, though it has the illusion. It is an old Victorian building, but this monk, it was like, till your eyes got used to it, it was quite dark, and then this monk was just knelt in the water. I think he was completely naked, but you can't really see because it's quite dark. It's quite what's the word? It's quite, it's not excluded, it's secluded. It's quite secluded, so you can't actually see anything rude, and it's cold in there. The water's cold, and you could see his breath coming out in smoke, and like his like the smoke you get in breath when it's a cold day. And he had his hands together like in prayer, and then he just had this amazing chant going on. It was really, really wonderful to watch, and the sound, because of it's a chamber, just echoed round and round and round. This chant just echoed round the whole chamber, and it was just mystical and magical, just what you expect Glastonbury to be like. It was really lovely and spectacular to watch. I feel really privileged to have been able to have seen that. And as the dragons as I was walking around, because I thought by the time I'd got to Glastonbury that I may have missed the event, because there's another town not very far from Glastonbury called Shepton Mallet, and the road that goes from Glastonbury, the main road that goes from Glastonbury to Shepton Mallet, was closed off for some reason. We don't know why, and we had to take an alternative route going through another town called Wales. and so we I thought we'd arrived really late, and we'd managed to find some parking, free parking, which is also always a bonus. And we were rushing around the town. The town's not very big. Glastonbury's not very big. It consists of like a high street with lots of shops, but it is a town because it's got an abbey, and I think the outer sides of Glastonbury are you know, the outskirts, but the main focal point is just a high street that just runs a quarter of a mile like in an L shape. And we were like, oh no, it's getting late. I expect because of the detours and stuff, I bet we've missed a lot of it. You know, so we were quite sad. Anyway, we went into the car park to cut through to go to a meadow that they use for different events, and there were the 2 dragon heads on step ladders. Awesome. We just couldn't believe it. We were just like so excited. Anyway, as we were looking at them, this woman appeared with a camera, and she said, oh, he just goes, oh, we missed it, are they being put away? And she went, no, they've not done the procession yet. It starts at 2 o'clock, and this was like about 1:45, so we were like so relieved that we hadn't missed it. And she said, oh, I'm the main photographer, and I do the Facebook page. Would it be possible for me to take a picture of you with the dragons? I mean, yeah, of course, no problem at all, of course you can. And so she took a picture of us, me and my partner Eddie, with the dragon faces, which was really cool. And they were spectacular, and I am including footage with this post, and so you'll be able to see yourself how fantastic these dragons are. And they were all made out of recycled materials. They're not bought, they're made by a local person, and it is all recycled. Nothing has been bought, which is again pretty awesome, because when you've got recycled materials, the artwork is pretty much in the lap of the gods, because you've got to work with what you're given. You know, you can't if you need to make like a cheek piece, or you need to make the bits that go around the eyes and that, you have to try and match it up and make the material do what you want it to do, rather than if you go out and buy it where you think, oh well, I need this shape, I'll go and get half a dozen off the shelf. You can't do that with recycled materials, which is half the fun. And far more creative when you have to work with what you're given. Mind you saying that, you could buy all the materials in the world and have everything and still not be very creative. But they were saying how they'd refined certain areas, because last year they weren't quite so waterproof, so last year they had issues with the material, so this year they'd actually rendered them on the top of the surface of the dragons, which gave them this beautiful texture, which was pretty awesome. But they were huge, and the people, they created the bodies the same as you do Chinese dragons, and the people from the village lifted up the material, and they were the dragon's body, which was really cool that everybody could take part in this fantastic procession, which is only in its second year. And we had a brilliant time. It truly was magical that the whole town and visitors, because there was visitors from all over the world, and that how they had all thrown themselves into this event to make it really real. Beltane Day. Right, that's the red dragon done. I'm going to go back for my glasses because I'll need that for the white dragon. Hope you can see him okay. Okay, be back in a minute.